Sir, just a reminder, you're still under oath, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Depp.
Good morning.
We heard a lot about some statements that Mr. Waldman made. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Mr. Waldman is your attorney or was your attorney?
Yes.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1245?
Okay. Let's see it.
And this is already in evidence, so permission to please publish. If we could scroll down to the second page. Mr. Depp, when is the first time that you saw this statement by Mr. Waldman?
The first time that I ever saw this statement was in August. It was when the piece was
They switched frames and the audio cut out.
This is the first time that I saw any of these statements.
Uh-huh.
Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1246?
Okay, let's see it.
This is also already in evidence. Thank you. If we could scroll down to the second page, or the third perhaps. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Depp, do you see this statement that's attributed to Mr. Waldman here?
I do.
And
We saw this.
when is the first time that you saw these statements?
Same, when the countersuit was filed.
And could we please go to Defense
Okay.
Exhibit 1247?
I mean, he doesn't even watch his own movies.
And again, this is already in evidence.
Like, I bet he probably didn't even know about this.
If we could
like-
scroll down, please. Thank you.
I mean, that's what I would guess.
Mr. Depp, do you see the statement attributed to Mr. Waldman?
I did, yes.
And when's the first time that you saw this statement?
This is the same. It's the counterclaim to August 2020.
Uh-huh.
After you saw these statements for the first time, did you form an understanding as to where they appeared?
I didn't, as to where they had appeared, these statements.
In what publication?
No, off the bat, I didn't know exactly. It just seemed like a lot of word salad to me. I didn't know where they'd come from, or I mean, where they ended up. Or
Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that you did not assist her in getting her role in Aquaman?
yes, I do. Yes.
And what is your response to that?
Uh-oh.
It's not exactly true.
Do you know when Ms. Heard first auditioned for Aquaman?
It's not exactly true.
Strangely, I know the date. Well, no, yes, I do know the date, because I was scheduled with my band, the Hollywood Vampires. We had done 2 shows at the Roxy, which is a place in Los Angeles, to rehearse for we were invited to play at the Rock in Rio concert, which is a huge rock and roll festival. So we did the 2 shows to go to Rio and play there. Miss Heard had wanted to come with me, and Whitney, her sister, had come as well.
Okay.
While we were there in Rio, we were rehearsing, getting ready for the show.
Yeah.
Miss Heard informed me that she would have to get back to Los Angeles for an audition, meaning it's basically after our 2-hour show or whatever, we would have to get on the plane immediately to make it back to Los Angeles for this audition.
That's fast.
And that audition was
Is the Aquaman one?
at Warner Brothers. It was whatever film it was.
And when were you performing at the Rock in Rio?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was the,
remember
it was the
film that was.
24th of September.
In what year?
That was 15.
What do you understand happened after Ms. Heard auditioned for Aquaman?
Uh-huh.
After Ms. Heard's audition, or possibly auditions, for Warner Brothers and I suppose the creative team, Ms. Heard had expressed to me that the film was going to be, Warner Brothers had said that the film was going to be shooting in Australia.
Okay.
And Australia was for Ms. Heard, that was a potential problem, which...
Because the
Objection,
dogs?
Your Honor. Your approach.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
I apologize, Mr. Depp. Could you please continue? What happened after Ms. Heard auditioned for Aquaman?
I was informed by Ms. Heard that the film was going to be shooting in Australia,
Okay.
and that was of concern to her, and because it was of concern to Warner Brothers.
Uh-huh.
So she asked if I would, because I'd had a multi, for a few years I'd had a multi-film deal with Warner Brothers, and so we'd been in business together. So I knew these people. I'd been on films with them.
That explains how we got
So
Mr. Hamad on there.
She asked me if I would speak to them. I made a phone call, and I spoke to...
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
I don't believe he said anything. I think he was going to say who he spoke to.
All right, we'll see. Overruled at this point.
Okay.
I spoke to the three upper echelon Warner executives, Kevin Tsujihara, Sue Kroll, and Greg Silverstein.
Okay. So he's got the names.
And I told them that...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What was the result of you speaking with those individuals?
Uh-huh.
Well, I can only say that ultimately she did get the job in the film. So hopefully I suppose I had curbed their worries to some degree.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that she saw you consume 8 to 10 MDMA pills while you were while you were in Australia in March of 2015?
Yes, I do remember that.
How
I
many?
also remember
8 to 10.
saying that I took a handful.
Objection beyond the scope. Question.
Sorry, that was extra
All
residue.
right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
How many times have you done MDMA in your life, Mr. Depp?
Actually, not that many times. I would say in my lifetime, maybe in my lifetime, MDMA 6, 7, maybe.
Okay.
And how much MDMA have you done on those occasions?
Trying to prove he doesn't have a tolerance.
Not enough to properly. Well, not enough to properly experience what the chemicals are supposed to do to you.
Okay.
Have you ever consumed 8 to 10 MDMA pills at once?
No, ma'am. No, I have not.
And why is that?
Because I'd be dead. I'm pretty sure I'd be dead.
Yeah, that's
I think
one
would
reason.
die. Yes, and probably rather quickly.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to show you some pictures from the home in Australia that Ms. Heard testified about.
Okay.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1817?
I've never
which
taken
is
that.
already
I've
in
never
evidence?
done that.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes, I do.
What is this?
That's the downstairs bar of the house we rented in Australia.
Okay.
And can you please show the jury
pull it up
where
in a
you were
second.
sitting when Ms. Heard threw the 2 vodka bottles at you?
If I touch this thing, it'll make a
Yes,
mark.
it will.
Yes. Okay. So this chair, that one here was over
Okay.
here. And it was
Okay.
in pretty much when I was turned around toward, they were on a swivel, so when I was turned around towards the bar, I'm facing the bar. When I turned around this way, this chair here was in pretty much exactly this same position as this chair.
All right.
It was when I was facing.
So you're sitting there.
Miss Heard, who was, let's say she was, if you're looking at the photograph, she would be about here.
Uh-huh.
Could you draw a line in the direction where Ms. Heard was relative
Really
to where
relevant.
you
I'm
were
not going to
sitting?
pop over it.
Yes, absolutely. So if I'm sitting here,
Okay. She looks stressed? Yeah.
she was over here. Back here.
Approximately how far away from Ms. Heard, from you was Ms. Heard, if you
Mm-hmm.
can recall?
I would say it was probably
It's not on there right now.
10, 12, 15 feet, maybe.
Jesus.
10 feet, 12 feet.
Uh-huh.
And approximately where was your hand when the
Was
vodka
she happy?
bottle
She
hit
thinks
it?
he's disproving what he said.
It was,
Probably.
it was leaning. My arm was, sorry, my arm was leaning on the marble bar, right there where that imaginary seat is, and leaning, kind of just leaning back and looking at Miss Heard. She just walked away with the second bottle. I mean, she walked this way when she threw the first bottle, which is
Uh-huh.
actually visible
Can
in
you
the
please circle
background on
where
the
the
floor.
first? Yeah. Could you please circle where the first bottle
Oh,
is?
sorry, excuse me. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, it's right. Okay, it's right there. You guys see it? There it is.
All that is the exploded first bottle.
God damn.
That went past my went past my head.
Shit, there it
The
is.
second bottle hit right up here where my hand was resting on the marble bar.
Can we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1820? Mr. Depp, do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
This is behind that very bar.
Uh-huh.
And what do you see on the floor in this picture?
I see what looks to me like some kind of napkin. It looks sullied, soiled, blood, I don't know. And I see glass in the corner, blood obviously on the floor, and a towel leaning up on something.
Okay.
Do you know how that bloody tissue got on the floor?
My best guess,
Objection calls for speculation.
Uh-huh.
Sustained.
I'm
Do you know how the blood got on the floor, Mr. Depp?
pretty well. I know how the blood got on the floor, it came from my dripping finger.
Yeah.
So that's why the tissue is I'm 99.9% sure, since it is looks like it's got blood on it as well, is what I held my finger with.
Do you see the wall on the left side of the photograph?
Okay.
I do.
Was there a wall-mounted phone on that wall?
On the left side of the photo, no, I didn't. No. Not that I recall, no.
Could we please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 394, which is already in evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this text message?
I do.
Full of shit. She's full of shit
What
as
is
a
this
Christmas
message?
goose. Oh my God. Look at that. Holy shit.
It's a text to Dr. Kipper. I'm sorry, just reading through. Yeah, this is my text to Dr. Kipper, who had just happened to be in town, telling him that I've had it, and
Yeah.
I just lost a fingertip.
How long after your finger had been injured did you send this text message, if you can recall?
It's hard to tell, because when I look at the timestamp, it says delivered 3/7/2015, 5 o'clock. But I know that because of Australia time, it was the 8th, and it was probably, the whole thing lasted probably until about 2 p.m. Or so, when that was when Kipper was called, Jerry was brought in, Jerry Judge, sorry, excuse me.
So do you have an estimate as to how long after your finger had actually been injured that you sent this message?
I don't think it was very long. I think it was probably within the next, I'm sure it was in the next half hour or so. I would have had to sneak into a bathroom, lock myself in to type this out.
And how were you able to send this text message to Dr. Kipper in the state that you were in?
Well, he wasn't available at the time, so just sort of thumb your way through, don't you?
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Oh my
How long
God.
after sending this text message did you see Dr. Kipper?
I don't recall it. I think it took them probably 30 minutes or more, 30 to 40 minutes to get there.
And what did Dr. Kipper do when he first arrived at the home?
Oh, the first thing he wanted to do is inspect the damage of my finger. And try and figure out exactly what had happened, how it happened.
And what did you tell Dr. Kipper about how your finger had been injured?
Objection, Your Honor.
May we approach?
Hearsay.
All right,
We've discussed
that's
this
fine.
several times.
Let's go.
She's enjoying reliving the moment. Yeah, it is very unsettling how it does seem weird how it seems like she's very much enjoying him retelling this story, you know? Like it's a bit odd. I'll say that for sure.
Mr. Depp, when Dr. Kipper was treating your finger, what did you tell him about how your finger became injured?
Okay.
I told him that there was obviously, when you saw the damage in the house and everything, and the blood everywhere, obviously there was serious damage done. there would be no point in lying to the man. He'd been through it with me and Ms. Heard before. I told him that she had thrown a bottle of vodka and smashed and cut my finger off. The tip of my finger. Just, but a good chunk. I miss it.
Mr. Depp, you heard Ms. Heard testify about an alleged incident of abuse on your honeymoon. Do you remember that?
I remember her testifying to that, yes.
And when did you and Ms. Heard go on your honeymoon together?
I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of August. Because I just finished the film. Maybe end of July.
Okay.
August. I'm not quite good on the exact date.
Do you recall the year?
It was 2015, I believe.
And where did you and Ms. Heard go on your honeymoon?
We took the Orient Express from Bangkok, Thailand to Singapore.
And what happened while you and Ms. Heard were together on the Orient Express?
There were times when it was very agreeable, very nice. And then there were times when something had become dissatisfactory for her, and she would start the rant, the blooming of a fight would be on deck there.
That's one way to say it. Yep.
And at one point, it didn't. I mean, I don't remember it lasting long at all. I just remember that I took a pretty good shot to the face, to the eye, to somewhere up here. So I had a bit of a shiner. But it all ended, and then everything got fine again, and we'd go to dinner, and it was all fine.
Okay. Yeah,
Did Ms.
that's
Heard
usually
ever
what happens.
apologize to you for giving you the shiner?
I don't recall.
Can we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 162,
Okay.
which is already in evidence? Mr. Depp, do you recognize this photograph?
Yeah, it's the Photoshop
It
one.
was with the chef and the maitre d' and the staff were asking if they could take a photo with us, and they'd been very kind. They'd given us a
And
private dinner card.
So where was this photograph taken?
That was in the that looks like it's in the, yes, that's towards the back of the Orient Express. That's in the back train bar compartment, and just out back you could smoke on the sort of caboose or whatever.
Yeah.
And what, if any, injuries do you have in this photograph?
I think the eye's a little bit bugged out, if you will. It's, yeah.
How did that happen?
These things could happen very quickly if you disagreed.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive. She just asked, how did that happen?
I believe he was about to explain.
Well, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. So,
Okay, how
Mr.
did it
Depp,
happen?
specifically, how did the injury in this photograph occur?
I'm sure it hit me. Is that better?
Does this picture accurately reflect
It's a little
what you
more
looked
simple.
like on that date?
I don't look at myself much, but it certainly looks like me with a black eye. Yeah.
Does this picture appear to have been photoshopped in any way?
No, no. I think it would be difficult to photograph or to start getting into sort of digital processing with a number of people in the shot, especially in a wide shot.
Could we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1301? And this is a new one, Your Honor, so this is not in evidence.
Okay, thank you.
What? Oh, he doesn't know how
Mr.
Photoshop
Depp, do you
works.
recognize what's reflected
It's
in this
obvious.
photograph?
He's looking at for his...
Yes, this is the.
Yeah, he didn't know what it is.
Staff.
Don't know how to use it.
Manager and his staff at the Raffles Hotel in Singapore. And before we left, they asked if they could take a photograph with us.
Mm-hmm.
And when was this photograph taken?
Well, that would have been, we were off the Orient Express. We stayed in Raffles, I believe, a couple of few days. And then from there we flew to San Francisco.
So this photograph was taken after the photograph we just looked at?
This photograph was taken after the photograph in the dining car of the train, yes.
Your Honor, I'd move Plaintiff's Exhibit 1301 into evidence.
Pardon, any objection?
Oh, happy honeymoon. So it's
Any
31st of October.
any objection?
Is that Halloween?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 1301 is in evidence, can be published to the jury.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see it.
Mr. Depp, what, if any, injuries do you see on your face in this photograph?
It's hard to say. It's like really bad
I
quality.
see pretty much the same.
So right
see
there.
The area in here has been
Yeah.
well, is swollen and
It's the same bruise.
yeah, there's a bit of a shiner there.
Thank you. We can take this down.
Uh-huh. Both photos were photoshopped then. Damn, that's
Mr.
crazy.
Depp,
He's
do you
doing all
recall
that.
Ms. Heard testifying that she punched you in the staircase incident because she thought of Kate Moss in the stairs?
Do I remember her saying that?
Yes.
Yes, I do. 3 times. Yes, I do.
Do you have any understanding as to what Ms. Heard was referring to?
I wonder.
Yes, I do.
And
As Kate Moss, Kate testified, it was many, many years ago.
Uh-huh.
And exactly what happened is what she said happened. I recall speaking with Ms. Heard about that very incident
Uh-huh.
because of the downpouring of rain, because it was raining very heavily that day that Kate slipped.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's probably how you
And I
slip.
recalled the story to her.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
may we approach Your Honor?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Why so slow? I think he just doesn't want to say the wrong thing. I'm going to take a piss real quick. I'll be right back. Yeah, I think he just doesn't want to say the wrong thing because he's nervous.
Please continue, Mr. Depp. What did you tell Ms. Heard about the staircase, or Kate Moss?
I'll make it easy for Mr. Rottenborn. Miss Heard took the story and turned it into a very ugly incident, all in her mind. There was never a moment where I pushed Kate down any set of stairs, yet she's spewed this 3 times before.
Objection, Your Honor. Ms. Heard simply testified that she had heard a rumor, and that's
What's a rumor?
Non-responsive to the question.
Sir, hold on. This
Sorry.
objection. I'll overrule the objection.
Misstates the facts and evidence.
I'll overrule the objection.
Sorry, I was drawn by Mr. Rottenborn's voice.
Certainly.
What would you like? What was it?
So what specifically had you actually told Ms. Heard about the incident with Miss Moss and the stairs?
What the hell did you do?
Simply that she had. We were in Jamaica.
Mr. Joke?
I had
All right,
left
all right, okay.
our bungalow about 3 minutes prior to her. I was standing outside, and suddenly rain starts just coming down like it's, monsoon. And then I remember looking and seeing Kate coming out the door, and there were 3 little wooden stairs, and she slipped, her legs went up, and she landed directly on her coccyx and her lower back. So, and she was obviously physically in pain, and she was hurt, she was crying. So I ran over and grabbed her to make sure she was all right.
Makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I ever. That's the whole story. But then the rumor of it, I'd never heard a rumor of that before Miss Heard grabbed hold of it.
That's one way to say it.
Like that.
So she just made that shit up. That's
Mr.
fucked
Depp,
up.
we heard testimony from Miss Heard's sister, Whitney, during this trial. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And how would you describe your relationship with Whitney when you were in a relationship with Miss Heard?
I liked Whitney very much. Initially, when I first met her, I liked her very much, and grew to love Whitney. Very much, because I always it seemed Whitney, Amber's sister, Whitney seemed to always get the sort of dirty end of the stick, and I felt bad for her for that, because
Wow.
it wasn't new. It had been there for life, and that was seemed pretty obvious.
That sucks.
So I took to Whitney
Think about how mad Amber is right now. Oh my God.
very, very quickly, very easily. She was a very sweet kid. She was wonderful.
What do you mean that Whitney got the dirty end of the stick?
It was a kind of a strange combination of loving sister, trusted sister and friend,
Yeah?
and then lackey, and then, either the punching bag or the dartboard, or the recipient of some rather demeaning and ugly words, or she would have wine thrown in her face.
And who was the source
What
of
the
those
fuck?
demeaning words and the wine that you just referenced?
Well, that would be Amber Heard, her sister.
And how do you know that?
Well, I witnessed quite a lot of it. The wine in the face was something that happened in New York, which I think that even made it into the papers. I believe that even made it into the papers. It was in an elevator.
How did you first learn about that
Can
incident?
somebody tweet that to
told
me?
me
Somebody tweet that to me if that's real.
in detail.
What else did you observe of Miss Heard and her sister Whitney's interactions during your relationship with Miss Heard?
They were just constantly up and down, but I could sense, I could feel that Whitney was trying to please her sister, trying to be up to snuff, and
That's what the texts reflect too.
it just seemed like she got shot down.
Objection,
every
Your
time.
Honor. This has gone beyond the scope of the question or his foundation for knowledge of that.
Your Honor, I asked what he observed, between them. I think this is responsive to that.
And his testimony as to what Whitney felt is
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay.
It's impossible for him to really know, but yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, I believe it.
Did you ever see Miss Heard physically attack Whitney?
Ooh.
No, I've never seen any full-on blowouts, physical blowouts between them.
Well, that's
Tons
good.
of verbal
objection
blowouts.
beyond the scope.
Overruled.
I've certainly seen Miss Heard grab Whitney, push her around.
What's she smiling for? It's your
There were
sister.
a number. There were half a dozen times when some of us, whoever was in the general vicinity, would have to leave. This is at Orange when
Yeah.
Whitney and Amber were living at Orange. Whitney and her boyfriend at the time, Sean Krajewski, and we had to leave the apartment and
Why
wait
was
in the car while they fought.
Oh. Oh.
When you say fought, do you mean physically or?
Physical.
What a
And
fiend.
when you said Miss Heard would push Whitney around, do you mean that the physically push her? Or
That's the demon
metaphorically?
smiling.
Both.
Yeah, that's the demon, guys.
You heard Whitney testify that she lived in Penthouse 4 at the Eastern Columbia building for a time, correct?
That is correct, yes.
How did Whitney come to live in Penthouse 4?
My recollection when Whitney first came to stay at the
She's a demon? I know,
Eastern Columbia
bro.
building in Penthouse 4 was
It's great.
she and her
What a villain.
boyfriend, Sean, had broken up. And she needed a place to go. And so Amber asked if she could stay in Penthouse 4, and I said, well, of course, of course, you know.
How long did Whitney live in Penthouse 4?
It was well over a year, on and off.
Okay.
Did you ever ask Whitney to move out of Penthouse 4?
No, I did not, no.
Why did Whitney ultimately move out of Penthouse 4?
Objection, foundation.
It's his apartment, Your Honor. He was living there.
Oh, overruled.
Whitney moved out of Penthouse 4 long before the marriage. And it was due to an argument that Ms. Heard and Whitney had, which had to do with Whitney working at the Art of Elysium with Jennifer Howell and those people.
That's the woman that testified yesterday.
And Amber asked her to leave, get out.
Where
Wow.
did Whitney live when she moved out of Penthouse 4?
That's when she moved in with Jennifer Howell, right?
My understanding is she went to live with Jennifer Howell.
Yeah, I thought so.
Your Honor, I know you anticipated having a motion at noon.
You can keep going. That's
Okay.
fine. We can.
All right, keep it up. Let's do
How
it.
much longer in direct do you have?
I have a bit.
Okay, it's okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Depp, do you recall hearing testimony during Ms. Heard's case from Mr. Mandel?
Yes, I do.
And who is that?
Mr. Mandel is my former business manager of 17 and a half years, who at a certain point, I discovered had been embezzling quite a lot of money. So I had to take action against him and he and my lawyer of 17 and a half years, as they were in cahoots, as it were.
In cahoots?
And
okay.
So yes, Joel Mandel is, and they, which was they settled their case with me. They made their settlement
with your money.
But yes, it was the big. That was a
Jesus.
Very, yeah, Joel Mandel is a very bitter man who ended up with a lot of money that I worked hard for over the years.
That
Do you
sucks,
recall
man.
Mr. Mandel testifying in this case that you do not spend very much money on charity?
That I don't, sorry?
That you do not spend very much money on charity?
Objection, Your Honor.
Just want to
May we
approach.
approach?
Okay.
Why? That's what they said. Number one, who cares? It's not like he's all right. So there's two parts to this. Number one, nobody is ever obligated to give their money to charity. I hate the idea that like people will try to create this like artificial pressure that somebody should feel to give money to a charity or something like that. Literally nobody has the fucking authority or moral authority to tell you this. Now, yes, it's a tax break, etc. Well, with Amber pledged the money. She said that she was going to donate the money, and then on top of that, she's trying to get praise for it. I think that's very different than never engaging in this to begin with. If Amber never said she was going to donate the $7 million, I'd never say she's bad because she should have donated it to charity.
Mr. Depp, just to remind you, my question was, what is your response to Mr. Mandel's testimony that you do not spend very much on charity?
My response to that is Mr. Mandel is a very bitter man, and one thing about that, myself personally, with regard to charity donations, sending money to a charity, I prefer, I would rather that my name were not on it. I don't want the name to be the important thing or the thing that people talk about. So when I donate money, I donate without my name being involved because I don't see that that's important, my name being there in terms of money. Now, if
This was corroborated by the person before yesterday.
Visit
that it's common
hospitals, or if I'm able to meet with Make-A-Wish children, have held on to the relationships that I've held on to within the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Children's Hospital and various other places.
See, it's like this.
Then obviously my name is involved. When we held premieres in Leicester Square for several films,
so this does happen.
Factory.
Again, beyond the scope of his response to Mr. Mandel's testimony.
I believe this is in response to Mr. Mandel.
I'll overrule the objection.
So
yeah, like it actually happens.
When
it's not some bullshit.
When it was a public, let's call it donation or whatever, I would talk to the studio. I would talk to Disney. I would talk to Warner Brothers. I would talk to whoever the studio was well before the premiere and make the premiere a benefit that would, once we did what we benefited, we did a premiere for Great Ormond Street Hospital. We did a couple of benefit premieres for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
We saw that.
I mean, if you can turn a premiere with that many thousands and thousands and thousands of people there
Yeah.
into a benefit.
That's going to be like a mill. Easy.
It works and it helps.
Yeah.
But it wasn't presented under my name, you know. It was Disney's doing this or Warner Brothers is doing this. I'm not looking for the pat on the back, as it were. If I can make it happen, great. But I don't need the pat on the back. I don't need the adulation. I don't need the attention.
And this is corroborated with like
Did you
the
hear Ms.
story.
Heard testify that
of,
one of
Isaac
the
whoever.
charities she donated a portion of your divorce settlement to was
this
the
is
Children's
corroborated.
Hospital of Los Angeles?
Yes.
What is your relationship with the CHLA?
Okay.
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant and to the
May
issue
we
just
approach Your
discussed.
Honor?
So I do think that he's telling the truth with this. The two reasons why I think he's telling the truth with this is that there is evidence of him dressing up in character to like go to like Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff and things like this, right? You can see Johnny Depp visits Vancouver patients, visits Children's Hospital, and like this has happened multiple times here.
Mr. Depp, what is your relationship with the CHLA?
I've had a relationship with the CHLA for probably 20 years or so.
Damn.
And what's the nature of that relationship?
Well, essentially, you know, sometimes there are Make-A-Wish kids who are in the hospital there, and that their wish is to.
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yeah, see, they don't want him to talk about this because if they do, then it's going to make him look bad. You know, viewer count Andes, I know there's a lot of people that are watching the stream right now. Hi, guys.
Mr.
By the
Depp,
way,
I'd
thanks for
like
5
to
subs. Appreciate it.
take you back to exactly 6 years prior to this week, the week of May 21st through May 27th, 2016. What happened at the beginning of that week?
Shave, thanks for 20 subs. God damn.
May 21st.
Excuse me, May 20th.
May 20th. This is we're talking 2016 here.
Yes.
Okay.
May 20th, the afternoon of May 20th, afternoon, evening, my mom
So she passed away?
made her exit. She
Shit.
she'd been fighting cancer numerous times and for many years, and she fought all the way to the end. And so my mother passed away on the 20th of May. Which does bring instant perspective into one's mind.
I bet.
I spoke to Amber that night. I called her on the
It
telephone.
did for me, too.
Explained to her that my mom had passed, Betty Sue had passed, and that I thought that the best thing we could do was to that I file for
Objection, Your Honor.
divorce.
Hearsay.
Here-
What Mr. Depp told Ms. Heard.
We can move on, Your
Okay,
Honor.
yes, ma'am.
Mr. Depp, what happened at the end of that week on May 27th, 2016?
Okay.
May 27th, my daughter's birthday.
All right.
May 27th. I was not in Los Angeles. I was on the way to on tour, and that was when Miss Heard went for the restraining order.
So it was like right at the
And-
same
oh, yeah.
time.
Also, that was the day that
Found out.
Alice Through the Looking Glass, a film I'd done, was opening.
Okay.
Did Miss Heard know that you were out of town on May 27th?
Yes.
And how would she have known that?
Well, I told her I was going on tour. I mean, that was well established.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you going to be out of town on that tour?
2 to 3 months.
And did Miss Heard know how long you'd be out of town?
I don't know if she knew exactly how long I'd be out of town, but it was a pretty extensive tour of Europe.
How did Miss Heard's actions on May 27th, 2016 affect you?
Changed everything.
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh,
Relevance
it didn't change
in
everything?
This lawsuit.
Sorry.
I'm sure you could wait till the objection, please.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Relevance.
Your Honor, this is one of the key
wanna
dates.
approach.
Yeah, it's like, obviously, it's just, that's ridiculous, man. Did she say it? Yeah, it's like, obviously that would change shit. Yeah, especially that close to, like, what happened to his mom and everything. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's brutal, man. He's pissed off? Of course he'd be pissed off. Absolutely. And so he wanted divorce, and when he flew away, she went for the restraining order. Well, as I said, I think that she is the... it's a crazy person, right? And this is the problem, is that, like, whenever you're dealing with a crazy person, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what they're going to say. It's awful. The turd clip? Yeah, if somebody wants to link me the clip that I didn't get to, I didn't see, please go ahead and do so. I'd love to see it. Lexi with the 100 gifted subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. And his daughter's B-Day, his mom's passing, and a premiere. Yeah, that's a big fucking day, man. Like, I don't even know. Like, bro, like, that would be awful. Can't link anymore? Yeah, you have to send it to a mod. Sorry, guys, but that's just, that's how it works. And, because we can't have links, because then people post, like, like, phishing links and stuff like that. And women can get away with this shit, too. Restraining orders can just be given off of hearsay. Well, it's not that that's even a bad thing. It's that the idea of a restraining order... Like, the problem is that the assumption of guilt that a restraining order creates. I don't think that the problem is the restraining order. I think the problem is that people, as soon as somebody gets a restraining order or something like that, then they assume that, the other person did something wrong. It's the implication of guilt. Do you see kind of what I'm saying? And why are they objecting to Depp's first-hand retelling as hearsay? Because he was so, like... I think that you can't really say what one person said to another person. That's effectively what it is. I don't know if they're going to let him explain that or not because he's a first-hand witness. I have no idea. And, yeah, she needed a defamation case, not abuse case, we have to remember. Well, that's not really true, though, because if they can disprove the abuse, then the abuse becomes defamation. Do you understand? So, like, they're one and the same. Okay, here we go. Wait a second. God damn it. Okay, where is it? Got it?
3 months.
And did Miss Heard know how long you'd be out of town?
I don't know if she knew exactly how long I'd be out of town, but it was 3 months.
And did Miss Heard know how long you'd be out of...
Bro, that was an obvious, like...
Know how long you'd be out of town? And did Miss Heard know how...
I mean, bro, she clearly said that. Like, I feel like we're up to 6 now. Holy fuck. 4 times already? Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, let's see here.
Mr. Depp, what has it been like for you to listen to Miss Heard's testimony at this trial?
I'm sorry?
What has it been like for you to listen to Miss Heard's testimony at this trial?
It's been bad.
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Oh, overruled.
Uh-huh.
Insane.
Yep, there it is.
It's insane to hear
That's what I was thinking.
heinous accusations of violence, sexual violence, that she's attributed to me, that she's accused me of. I don't think anyone enjoys having to split themselves open and tell the truth.
I would assume
But,
so, yeah.
There are times when one just simply has to, because it's gotten out of control. Horrible. Ridiculous, humiliating, ludicrous, painful, savage,
Especially savage.
unimaginably
Gold, thanks for 5 subs.
brutal, cruel, and all false. All false. I wanted I no human being is perfect, certainly not. None of us. But I have never in my life committed sexual battery, physical abuse, all these outlandish, outrageous stories of me committing these things and living with it for 6 years
Yeah.
and waiting to be able to bring the truth out. So this is not easy for any of us. I know that. But no matter what happens, I did get here, and I did tell the truth, and I have spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back reluctantly for 6 years.
I would bet. Yeah, that sucks.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right. Did you want to take lunch at this point, or just, okay, all right, let's do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take lunch this time. Do not discuss this case with anybody, and don't do any
Yeah,
outside
that sucks.
research, okay?
Because, like, there's probably
Thank
a
you.
lot of people who think that he's guilty. You know, you've got to keep that in mind, right? Is like how many people, like, over the years
And
have,
don't
like,
break anything on your way out. Thank you. Thank you.
called them like all these bad names, said all this bad shit to them, etc. You know, like, it's bad. I mean, there you go. This, in my opinion, is it's not really a surprise to see him saying that, because it's like one thing you have to remember is that did someone break something last time? I'm not sure what happened. I feel like what happens is, like, as soon as you get accused of something like that, that just kind of becomes your life. Is it like everybody looks at you through that lens? People think that you're that kind of a person. Everybody is like just kind of thinking that you're that person, and they're assuming that. And so, like, now you're not Johnny Depp, you're Johnny Depp the abuser, Johnny Depp the molester, or things like that. It's like just kind of over.